You know, when I first started filming this on TikTok, I realized that this was gonna take longer than 3 minutes, so I had to film it on a different platform, so here we are. I'm registered dietitian Michelle Jaelin, and these are 5 things I would never do as a registered dietitian. If you're interested in working with me, be sure to check out my link in the description below that discusses some of my services that I can offer you. Of course, if you want to see more content from me, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. My first thing, recommend 1200 calorie meal plans. And for this, I have to admit that when I first started out as a dietitian, a company reached out to me to ask me to make them 1200 calorie meal plans using their products. As a new professional, I needed the money. I had bills to pay, I had debt to pay. And so I did it. Made 1200 calorie meal plans using their products, even though in my heart, I knew that these types of plans were not very sustainable. Back in the day too, I was a lot more of a people pleaser, a new professional. And when you're new on the scene too, you want to do anything to make your clients happy. And you're less likely to say, well, this is my professional opinion. So now where I am today, if I were approached right now about doing a 1200 calorie meal plan, I would say, this is not actually what I agree with, and this is what I recommend instead. Not be afraid to share my own professional opinion on things. Like, that's really important, especially for a client that may not exactly know what actually works for most people. The second thing I wouldn't do, follow and listen to people who have really nice bodies, who are out there putting out nutrition advice. Bodies are not business cards. Just because somebody looks a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that they know what they're talking about. Whenever you see meal plans or gym memberships that they're trying to sell you, or supplements, the image of that is always somebody who is very fit. That is used as marketing to sell a certain product or service to somebody who doesn't know better. But from what I know in my dietetics training, a real healthy body is not a body that has a really, really low body fat percentage. And this is both for men and for women. A lot of times what you see, people who are in the fitness industry or the nutrition/fitness industry, is they have to work very hard to maintain that certain look. Maintaining that look, that physique, that low body fat percentage, first of all, is not sustainable for most people. It is part of their job. So often we look at celebrities, we look at people, and we see how ripped and good they look. And I'll use the example of Ryan Gosling in the upcoming Barbie movie. First of all, these photos have been manipulated, but also actors often go through phases where they have to maintain a certain look for like a photo shoot, a magazine shoot, a movie, certain videos they have to shoot. These are things that they do. Those are things that sell. But in reality, a body that looks like that is not necessarily a healthy body. Just because somebody has a very nice physique, you don't know what their health is at all. If you're not their doctor, you don't know their family history, you don't know what's going on inside, you don't know what their mental health is like. Those are not necessarily images of healthy bodies, and that's also why I don't follow a lot of fitness accounts. I don't follow a lot of nutrition accounts. What I see is not good information for most people, and most often people follow because they see their bodies aspirational. But at the end of the day, you should do what is best for you and work towards striving for your own personal health, not trying to emulate what somebody else has. Genetically, access to food, your job, all these different factors influences how you look. And just because somebody looks like that and you follow their plan or you buy their products or their services doesn't mean that you're gonna look like that. So if you've been following me for a while, this is an obvious one, but tell you not to eat your cultural foods. When I was doing my nutrition degree, studying dietetics, we didn't talk as much about cultural food. I remember we had one course about it and I thought it was a great course, but nowhere was that discussion of where cultural food meets healthy. And that's when I knew this is where I could find my own area of talking about cultural food and health. You go and you look at your fitness app. Cultural food is always on the bad list. Most people who inputted those foods into it don't really have a good understanding of cultural foods. When I compare a lot of cultural meals to the standard American diet, there are a lot of ways that we eat that are different, that are not the same. I would never tell you not to eat your cultural food. Number 4, this one is show you my perfect eating life and habits and meal plan and everything. They did a segment on Cityline about this. Hashtag that girl. We see a lot of this online that I'm so glad thought about more critically. I first started that I had to be this perfect, beautiful, knowledgeable dietitian talking head. That's what I thought was considered ideal. And then I learned, first of all, maintaining that was incredibly exhausting. Try to maintain a perfect feed and a perfect image. How unrelatable it really truly was. Life is actually pretty messy and you just want tips on how you can eat better. Reality is, when you look online and you see this really perfectly curated feed, this is my morning routine, I start my day off doing yoga and then I have a green juice and then I meditate for 20 minutes and then I eat a really healthy breakfast and these are all my perfect meals for the day. None of that is real. And I guarantee you that if you look online and you think these people have their life fully together, they do not. They totally do not. They are only showing you the highlights of their life. There's a lot of people who aspire to be that, and I say, don't. Real life is messy, it's hard, it's got its ups and downs. There's no such thing as perfect eating, and I don't care if anyone shows you like this is my perfect meal plan. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And also, you don't know what's going on in their life other than what they show you. Or show you my perfect eating, healthy lifestyle routine and frame it like this is what you should try to emulate, because none of that is real. So what is not show you that food can be fun. Food is one of life's greatest pleasures. So I would never vilify a certain food or ingredient. All foods can fit. Like to hear though is they like to hear whether or not a food is just good or bad. In reality, all foods have a place, because even if it's not serving you in a way that's nutritionally the best, it's still serving you in some way. Ice cream. Maybe you remember going for ice cream with your grandparents when you were a kid. They would take you to an ice cream shop and you would get a certain flavor. And that memory with the food brings a sense of happiness and nostalgia to you. Yes, with ice cream, we know it's higher in fat, higher in sugar. This food can serve you in a different way. If it brings you joy, memories for you, then that food has a place. I think of it like a spectrum. The way people eat is varied. It's varied, it's different. Everyone eats differently, and I really believe that all foods can fit. So there you have it. Those are my 5 things I would never do as a registered dietitian. If you like this content and you want to see more from me, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to check out my services in the description below if you want to work together. Thank you so much for tuning in. I always appreciate you. I'm Jaelin. See you in my next video.